Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show today. Well, I promised it. I promised I would deliver it, and that's what I'm going to do right here and now. So without further ado, I want to introduce a fellow Habs creator that you guys are all very familiar with. If you're not, what the heck is freaking wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. I want to introduce him. He's got just over 1.8 million views, almost 2 million views on his channel after just starting in early 2021. He's a nice guy. He's a funny as heck guy. He inspires me in my own content creation for the Montreal Canadiens. Let's introduce him. Matt, a.k.a. HockeyJunkie, everybody.
Drew Deeks, it's been a long time, buddy. We've been talking about this for a while now, and thanks for having me, man. I'm happy to be on the show.
Oh, dude, it's a blast. Like, we were just talking off air and getting to know each other a little bit better, and it's the first time we've actually had a chance to converse outside of just texting and, Twitter. So it's great to have you, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, despite this Western road trip that's been going down. Haven't been getting a whole lot of sleep, man. God, these Western road trips just kill me. Worse than the players. It's worse on me than it is on the Habs themselves.
I concur. My friend. It couldn't be any more true than that, man. I mean, you know how it is when we're doing our own thing here and trying to, do what we love, and that's cover the Montreal Canadiens, which we both certainly do. And yeah, this has been a grind the last few nights, man. I got to tell you, working till 11 o'clock, coming home, watching a game, trying to do a reaction. It's a grind, man, and you know it all too well yourself.
Oh, yes. Yeah, 3 a.m. The game against Vancouver Canucks was 3 a.m. It came over in Newfoundland. That's what time it stopped, and my God, I was fit to be carried to a vet. I was going to ask the veterinarian to put me down, man. Just put me down, buddy.
Let's end it on a happy note. Let's win a cup before you do that. Okay, let's try to do that first. I forgot to put the graphic up as I was introducing you, so that's a fail on my part. But here it is at the bottom down below. HockeyJunkie, aka Matt. Matt, it's been a treat to get to know you, and we're going to talk a lot of Habs stuff, including the last couple of nights where the Canadiens didn't disappoint. They're not disappointing in putting up entertaining hockey. We can say that so far, yeah.
Very entertaining hockey, man. This team is electric. It's nuts.
So, I mean, Vancouver, first of all, that game, did you how many people had like a panic attack during that game? I don't know. Like, you can't take it too seriously sometimes, but at the same time, it was like a lot of people thought the game was drunk. There was some hilarious comments coming out about that game, man.
Nobody's seen that coming, man. Not even Ray Charles seen that one coming. 4-0 for the Canadiens, and then bam, out of nowhere, they just start potting goals in the second period. And I don't know, your guts begin to roll over. It's almost like you're just waiting for it. You're waiting for the heartbreak.
Yeah, it's a sad place to be, right? But my reaction after the Vancouver game changed. Like, I was thinking of just going like full dangle, like just losing it, right? Because it's entertaining to, but then you know what? I was like, geez, Martin St. Louis is a different animal, dude. Like, that guy, that game did not phase him one bit. He handled that extremely well, I thought.
He did, yeah. Completely different from some of the way the other coaches around the NHL would have handled it, man. Like, Marty St. Louis is just so calm, so collective. He's got a long leash for all his players. Have you noticed that? Like, even you look at guys like Evgeny Dadonov and Yoel Armia, who haven't been producing like they should, but I mean, these guys got some long leashes.
Yeah, it seems that way. And why do you think that is exactly? What's your first impression on that?
Maybe he's just trying to get them going. He's trying everything he can to get these guys going, so their value goes up. That's what I'm hoping anyway. Because I don't want to be seeing Evgeny Dadonov here any longer than we already have been.
Can you give us a big daddy knob?
The what?
I was just saying, can you give us a big daddy knob in the I love
big daddy knob?
Yeah, there it is.
It is him.
Man. Yeah, you know what? Like, if we can't get a whole lot out of them, we might as well get a whole lot out of these guys' names, right? That's what you do.
That's what I do. Yeah, I got nicknames on everybody, man. Not just in hockey either. Like the neighbors dogs, the neighbors cats. Everybody's got a name with me.
So it didn't start with the YouTube channel. You had this going already, buddy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's hilarious, man. Oh my gosh, it's what, like, when I finally started to watch your content regularly, it was like, you know what, man, like, you make it so much fun, and like you make us all laugh. And I think that's half the value of being a creator, right? Is you have to entertain.
Yeah, you're right, man. I try to be 50% factual, 50% complete insanity. No, that's the way I've been just trying to do it. It just and it happens kind of naturally too. Like I'll be just watching something and then it just comes to my mind right away. Like if something's stupid, I'm gonna call them out later on. I can't
Yeah.
let stuff slide.
And that it was last night, actually, one of your nicknames. I'm going to give this shout out to him. And I even put it in my video, Jonathan Kovacevic,
Yeah.
AKA Honda Civic. That one just came to your mind on the fly too, or what?
Yeah, it did. As soon as I heard his name, Kovacevic, I was trying to pronounce it because I get a lot of that in my comment sections. People are like, man, you don't pronounce the name right. You don't pronounce the name right. And I'm like, man, I'm from Newfoundland. I can't speak English and I can't speak French either. Like, I can't speak anything. Like, you're just going to have to deal with me. And Honda Civic is the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, someone reminded me that the other day because I was like, Honda Civic, who came up with the name? And they're like, HockeyJunkie. Like, they made sure to give you the credit, man. So
that's nice.
But I love the way you do your videos, and we'll talk. I think we're gonna go back and forth between the Habs and just just talking about your stuff because you are my guest, and I just love to pick people's brains as they come on here.
No, go ahead, man.
But let me ask you this then? Just what did inspire you to finally just do your own channel? You said you were watching me. And actually, I should tell people that don't know this. You sent me like probably the nicest message. One of the nicest messages I've ever gotten about what I do on YouTube, maybe a couple of months ago. And that really encouraged me, number one, but also made me realize, wow, there's a lot of nice creators out there like yourself. And I wouldn't say there's a lot. There are, but there's none like you. So I just want to thank you again for that, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome, man. No, I've been watching you behind the scenes. The first video that I seen of you, Drew, you did a Bubbles impersonation. I don't know why this came up in my feed, man. I think it's because I'm such a big Habs fan and I'm such a big Trailer Park Boys fan. So, and as soon as I watched that, I was like, man, this guy is gold. Like he's got it nailed down. And I've been hooked ever since. But as for me, like I started doing this just out of complete boredom. I moved on from Alberta at the time. COVID-19 was causing complete chaos. I mean, it was worse than a zombie apocalypse at one point, or at least that's the way it was portrayed. And
yeah,
I don't know. I just started going for random walks, and I was watching a lot of hockey. And I said, you know what? Maybe I'll just make a couple of videos, put them up on YouTube, and see what happens.
Right.
And I started getting some comments, and the rest is history.
So what was it for you? When did you realize you had something? Like when you started kind of, because I watched your first video. I went right back to the beginning of your first videos because you were gaming in the background and then you decided to change it up afterwards.
Yeah, being faceless at first, like, the gaming just kind of provided some background. It was just something that I could throw in there. I didn't have to do any editing because I wasn't good at editing. Like everything was new to me. And eventually I started, it's almost like taking an online course, man. I was on YouTube myself nonstop looking up how to get better, how to edit videos. And I mean, I'm still, I'm not saying I'm good at it or anything by no means, but I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to improve. And that was one of my improvements. I wanted to make videos where I didn't use video game content, and I slowly got to that point.
Yeah, and that's where it seems like, all the hilarious faces. You got John Lewis, Spider-Man. You got, Jeff Gorton. What was it at, like, as Andre the Giant or something like that?
Yeah. I've had a lot of them, man. There's been a lot of them that I haven't even used. There's some funny stuff. If you can go through my my folders on my computer, I tell you, it scared the shit out of you, Drew.
Oh man, no, you know what? Like that's what keeps everybody coming back. I think is just knowing the sense of humor that you bring to it, brother.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm very appreciative of everything, man. Everything and everybody that's been on my channel. Every viewer, everyone has been. It's been a good experience so far, I gotta say.
Yeah, and it's rewarding. Like you do get to make a bit of an income, which we both are fortunate in that way. But it all starts with the passion. Like the the money kind of thing follows after you put your heart into it first, right? So that seems to be the best place for creators to start. And I would say that it's a lot easier when you love what you're doing, right?
Oh, for sure. That's half the battle, man. Like, for example, like imagine sitting there and talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like that'd be just pure misery. Would it not? Like, you gotta love what you do, Drew. You got it.
You got to do it, man. There's enough people that we can name that that make their money off the Leafs misery. But no, it starts with the passion. I'm just messing around. I mean, if you look at my name, I mean, I'm not friggin' original. Like I got a derivative off of a Leafs YouTuber, like my name, But Steve Dangle, shout out to him. He's inspired a lot of creators, and I happen to be one of them. And I just thought, you know what? I'm trying to slowly figure out exactly how. I still don't even know if I want to keep doing it this way with the mic and the camera and do the jump cut style. I've done it before, but I think you specifically have inspired me to try to have a bit more fun and make it lighthearted and make some jokes and like actually have a good time with it. That to me is one of the biggest things I've gotten from you, just so you know.
Thanks, man. The jokes are awesome. You gotta have some jokes, and one piece of advice: don't be afraid to piss people off, man. It's you gotta embrace that. You gotta take that in, man.
Yeah, I tried to be a bit of a troll last night, but I still gave Shane Wright a shout out. So, yeah, because I started my video off last night basically saying like, it took Juraj Slafkovsky a lot less long than it did for this player to score his first NHL goal. And then I was like, Jonathan Kovacevic, first NHL goal.
Yeah, that is a good one.
So I did that. But you know what? Let's talk about last night. It was the first time we got to see these two guys square off, Juraj Slafkovsky and Shane Wright. I did not know that Shane Wright got his first goal against us until after the game because I only caught it at the third period and had no idea who scored the goals. So I had to go on Twitter to find out that Shane Wright actually scored. But what did you think of him getting his first goal against us?
Oh man, I was fully anticipating it. Like I was just waiting for it. Honestly, I sat there and I was just waiting. I was like, my God, when is this Shane Wright hat trick going to happen? Like, it's bound to happen at some point. And he did score that first goal, and he was excited. And you know what, though? I am a bit happy for him. Good on him, man. Guy, he's been taking a lot of shit since he was in Seattle. He got sent down to the AHL. He put up some nice numbers down there, and then he comes up and he gets a goal in his first game. So, yeah. I can't even look at that picture, man. My kids look at me like that all the time.
Your kids look at you like that all the time. Oh, geez, that's hilarious. That's so funny. After every video, this is how HockeyJunkie's kids look at them. Just you're not alone, Habs fans. You're not alone. You're not alone. That's so funny, man. But you know what? Like, I was kind of happy for him too, but it's just one of those things that happens, right? I mean, he had to take it on the chin a little bit. He was getting his tires pumped for years, telling him he was going to be the first overall pick. He's exceptional status, and then this happens.
Exactly. You know who I was even more happier for, though? Honda Civic, man. The look on his face when he was on the bench after that goal went in, that was worth $1 million. Like, I don't know. Yeah, like, look at that. Look at him. Isn't he beautiful, man?
This is after the game, but yeah.
What a guy. So happy for Honda Civic, man. He deserves it. He's got a few kilometers on him now. He deserves that first goal.
I love it. See, this is why I love talking to you. Like first time talking to you, I'm like, just give me more. I think that's why everybody comes back to your channel, man. I really do. It's awesome. So, okay, so let's talk about the Habs a little bit more. We have them currently sitting at 6th in the Atlantic Division. They are 13-11-2. And you know what, man? Like, if you would have told me this was going to be their record, I think I would have been a little bit surprised just based on how everybody thought they were just going to be another full-on tank mode for this season.
Yeah, me too. I was suspecting them to be like right at the bottom of the standings by now already. Now, I got to say one thing, up until now, they haven't been faced with many injury issues. So now they're starting to get a few injuries roll around, and I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they do now down the stretch. But, not only are the Habs sitting where they are right now, they're right outside, but I mean, the Florida Panthers too, they're tied with the Canadiens right now, and that's 2 first-round picks this season that the Canadiens own. And Florida, they lost again last night too. Was that ever good? Man, I
Yeah,
tell you, I could not be more excited to see them lose.
yeah, Mark Scheifele was pretty happy to beat his old coach. I think we figured out that there was a riff there. I have a sneaking suspicion that Scheifele was not a big Paul Maurice fan. That's the impression I got from last night.
Seems that way, man. Definitely seems that way.
So yeah, you know what? So just to clarify for Habs fans, and even myself, so the more Florida loses, is it the better potential of the Habs draft pick that they got from them being better? Like, can you explain that a bit more, maybe?
Yeah, well, the further they fall, the more lottery odds the Canadians are going to get off of their first round draft pick. So, I mean, that lottery, if the Panthers finish outside of a playoff position and the Canadians finish outside, well, that's two shots right there, man, at a home run. And it doesn't always happen that way. Like sometimes, a lot of times, the bottom tree will get the first three picks in the draft, but just
Yeah.
that extra shot at one of these guys. And even if you don't, this draft seems to be pretty deep anyway. It's what all the big scouts are talking about. So, two first rounders right now, possibly some more on the way. So could be
Yeah.
good.
So
Could
what
be
do you
good.
think, man? Let's just maybe jump right into it because you mentioned it, Habs trade bait. So Sean Monahan, who's currently most recently injured, is playing really, really well. And I think Habs fans like him. And the more they like him, the more I think we probably should have to trade him. Like,
That's the same way I feel, man. If you love him, we're gonna move him. We're moving. There's a reason why you love him, and he's good, man. My God, he reminds me of the family pig we had one time. Just didn't want to get rid of that pig when I was a kid, and we ended up having to get rid of him. It was a sad day, but you know what? We still ate the pig, man.
You did the Homer Simpson. You ate Pinchy.
And when we get that first round pick for Sean Monahan, I'm going to say he's worth a first round pick right now, man. Like,
Yes.
I am. I'm thinking he is. Like, look at some of the players that have gone for a first round pick over the last few seasons. Friggin' Ben Sherratt. Ben Sherratt, Deeks. Even Big Ben brought back a first rounder. I'm thinking that Sean Monahan is going to be a hot commodity come to trade deadline. And it's going to be nice. Oh, my God. It's going to be good. I'm excited.
Yeah. Now, I think I heard it from Engels because and Eric Engels has helped inspire my career a little bit too. He's been great just whenever I've reached out to him.
Yeah.
He said that he thinks the Canadians may have a difficult time getting another 2023 first rounder. Do you think that might be the case then, or you're not convinced there?
I'm thinking they're going to get one. I'm thinking they're going to get at least, well, I shouldn't say at least, but they're going to get one more. I don't know from which guy. Like, maybe it will be Sean Monahan. I mean, God, they've been even talking about Joe Edmondson lately.
Yeah, I could see that very much.
The first rounders coming up in the Edmondson conversation as well. And he's been linked to Edmonton, and I don't know. There's been some trade rumors floating around. The first rounder seems nice, but then they start talking about Magnus, what's his name? Jesse Puljujarvi or whatever his name is. Yeah, I can't even say that, man. He's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the NHL. You can't even say that name. And I don't know. I don't know about that kid, man. He's big. That's it. He's big and he's fast, but everything else is just not interested.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I think Joel Edmondson is a very, very interesting piece because I think he definitely will help a playoff team. The guy coming off of a 2019 Stanley Cup with St. Louis. And you saw the damage he did. Like, I mean, we had basically the big four in the 2021 playoff run with Shea Weber, Ben Sherratt, Joel Edmondson, and if you want to consider Jeff Petrie, he's a big guy, maybe not as physical, but we had four huge monster guys, and that's a big reason for the Habs' success in that run, no?
Yeah, I agree. That was a good run, man. That was one of the best memories that I got, actually. Like, been watching hockey my entire life, but there was something special about that run. It's just too bad they came up short. It was so close, and there's always points in time to where you're thinking, like, what if Jonathan Drouin was playing, or what if this happened, or what if that happened? But
yeah,
I know everybody rips on Johnny Drouin, but when he was in the lineup back then, he was effective. So I mean, maybe he could have done something. I don't know, even filled the water bottles or did something.
Just see a Johnny Drouin just fill the. Oh, that would have been a sight to see. I know he gets such a hard time, and like that's the whole thing about. It's just like love or hate in Montreal, right? Like we're all basically I don't want to say bipolar. That's not really fair to say. People genuinely deal with that issue. But my gosh, like it does seem like there's just such a back and forth all the time about how to feel about players, right? When you're a Habs fan, and it's just like we can't decide sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Yoel Armia, for instance, a few years back, Yoel Armia, I would have wore a jersey with Armia on it, and now like I feel like hitting him over the head with a roll of bologna. Like no, Yoel Armia he's on the naughty list this year, man. For me, I can't help it.
Yeah,
I know
I
people
get
still
you.
like him, but I don't know.
I feel you. I feel you. He's people have said that he's more talented than he knows, but I don't think he really knows. Because
Oh, he doesn't.
he's just I know he's had his moments where he looked great, and then others where he's just like I don't know, man. It's one of those Bergevin contracts that we're stuck with for who knows how much longer. But let's go back maybe to trade bait then. So what are your thoughts? Okay, so Sean Monahan, Joel Edmondson, Josh Anderson. Where are you at with him right now? Because I still feel like I don't know what to do with him, and I think we're gonna miss him if we move on from Josh. Man, I got to tell you, I like that. I like him still.
Yeah, he's one of these players that's hard to find. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
if you're trading Dadonov or if you're trading Armia, I mean, my God, you could tip over a
Hoffman.
garbage can off the streets and find a guy that can replace those shoes. But my God, a guy like Josh Anderson is just hard to find because he's different. He's built different. He's big and he's not afraid to use it. He's tough. The guy's fought Chera. He's fought Lucic.
Lucic. Yep.
Yeah, like he's a tough customer, man, and he's got a good shot. It's the contract really that scares a lot of Habs fans and the injuries from the past, but it all depends on what's offered, man. Like Ravioli Toffoli last season. I mean, he was a fan favorite too. Nobody kind of really seen Tyler Toffoli getting moved when he did. I know I didn't. It came out of the blue, really, and I guess Kent Hughes got an offer that he couldn't resist, and when you get offers you can't resist, sometimes you just got to go with the flow.
Yeah, I don't think the offer's been good enough for Josh. I mean, clearly not, right? That's
Yeah, exactly. Now coming up to the trade deadline, that could change, and as the season goes on, but not all of them are going to get traded, right? Like I can see them actively telling other GMs, like Sean Monahan, just letting you know this guy's available. I don't necessarily see him doing that with Josh Anderson. I don't know why, but I don't. I could be wrong. I mean, the wife says I'm wrong 99% of the time, so she's probably right. And I could be wrong on this one too, but that's just the way I see it right now.
yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know because it's just so easy to overreact based on a game by game basis. I mean, that's why I'm like, I don't know. I see him gelling pretty well, possibly with the future of this team. You can't trade away everybody. Like I did my, mock lineup for next year and the year after already,
Yeah.
and I still have Josh Anderson in it because I'm like, and even with him in it, people were still saying you got too many of the Habs draft picks in the lineup at the same time. And I'm like, well, they're going to have to keep some of these guys, right? But we know who's going to be leaving and who's potentially not, but Josh might stay. I don't know.
He could. Yeah, there's potential there for sure. I actually watched those videos. I thought they were good. I thought you did a good job on those.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. People, okay, you've talked about him several times. What are your thoughts on Dubois? Let me get your thoughts on the possibility of him coming here as a free agent, really in his prime, junkie, like Matt, like 27 years old. What do you think, man? Like, what are the thoughts on Pierre-Luc Dubois?
He would be a big addition, man, like a golden addition to the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, it seems like he's destined to play there almost at some point. I mean, if they could go after him now, well, not necessarily now, but even when he becomes a free agent, if they can get him at a young age like he is right now in his prime, it's hard to toss up. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm just thinking now, like getting them later on, because you know the way it is with the Quebec players. Like, it almost seems like everybody wants them. I mean, I want them too, but then they don't get here until they're in their 40s or 50s, like Vincent Lecavalier. Right? One time
Yeah.
everybody wanted Lecavalier, and now we're just getting him.
And now we finally got him, and he's too old to play.
Yeah, unfortunately. But Dubois, he could get here. This is one that I could potentially see happen. I thought it was weird that he was at the draft, eh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he said that his bank invited him, which is I was like, what bank?
Come
What kind
on,
of relation?
Dubois.
What kind of relationship do you have with your bank teller?
Man,
Like, what is
even
going on?
my excuse game is better than that, man. Come on, Dubois. This guy's got a player agent. He can come up with some better shit than that.
You would freaking hope so, man.
Jeez.
But like the guy lives 15 minutes from the Bell Center.
Okay,
That's pretty
fine.
wild.
Fine. I'll give him that one.
Okay, you changed your mind. Yeah, you changed your mind on that one pretty quick. But dude, like he'll be 26 years old in 2 years from now, and I'm not saying like everyone's got like the whole PTSD of Jonathan Drouin, right? That's what we're going off. Are these guys even close to the same player?
No, I don't think so. I think they're two different players completely. I mean, Drew like
I know one's a
Dubois
forward,
has
one's a centerman, but actually it
yeah.
says Dubois is listed as a left winger right now
Yeah, he
on
plays.
Hockey
He
DB.
plays. He's going to be a goaltender next week, man. This guy's playing everywhere, but he's a big body, though, and he's not afraid to mix things up. Dude, these are two different players, completely different, in my opinion, anyway. And he's got a bit of feistiness to him. I like Dubois' game, man. I do. He's a good player. And Drouin, like, there was a lot of hype, when Drouin came over. I was hyped about Drouin too, but man, he's just fallen, and now it's gotten to a point where you can't even feed him a Dorito, or he's potentially going to be out for 6 months. It's sad. Like, it's sad that he's gotten to this point. I don't know. I feel bad for him too, in one sense, but
Yeah, I know.
I'm kind of hoping that he does get moved, and it's a positive for the Canadians, and it's a positive for him too. Maybe he goes somewhere different, and kind of goes under the radar a bit and revives his career. Best case scenario for both clubs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else we could have done for him in terms of trying to support him as a fan base and also just as an organization. I don't think that with his mental health that he went and dealt with, he still has the physical health issues constantly. So it's not even just a matter of him as a player. It's just like he can't be here a lot of times. And
Yeah,
and he came in. I think he came in at one of the worst times too. And this is coming off of losing Radulov and Markov when the Habs just went straight down into basically a tank mode in 2017-18 when that's when Drouin came in, and then Shea Weber was gone for the season, and Bergevin had to come up with another excuse or whatever. But I think he came in at the wrong time, man, either way. So
yeah, you're right.
but that being said, let's talk quickly about some Habs prospects, my friend. You have some great content on our Habs prospects. You always give us those nice updates. Logie Bear Logamayu last night, he had himself a heck of a goal, end to end, pulling a friggin' Bobby Orr there, buddy.
I know, what a goal. Started from his own into the rink, and he did a lot of fakes too. He faked the guy in the neutral zone and just
with his feet there. Yeah,
that was wicked. And then he goes in, splits the D. I had to relook at the title of the video. I was like, am I watching Connor McDavid here? Why is Connor McDavid shooting right? Like, what's going on, man? Like, this is weird. But no, it was Logan Mailloux, and I couldn't believe it. It's a good sign. Definitely a good sign.
and we saw Owen Beck pot another one last night. He's heading off to the World Junior Selection Camp this weekend, which I told you this on Twitter. I was supposed to go interview Owen Beck, and sure enough, he's got to go be on friggin' Team Canada because that's more important apparently than an interview with me. Yeah. So
listen, if it makes you feel any better, man, I wouldn't have went. You wouldn't believe what I canceled today to join you, man. Like, my son is getting married. No, I'm just kidding. He's 5. But...
Oh my gosh, I haven't had this much fun on a show in a long time. But that's why I'm gonna have to have you back, whether your son's getting married or not. Okay. So we can talk about a couple more guys before we let you go. So we have Philip Machar, who is of course doing pretty well still with Kitchener, and we got to talk about him because I think you and I are both, and all of our viewers combined, are more hyped on Lane Hutson than anybody else right now, man.
Lane Hutson,
and he's going to the World Juniors too, and we'll see if he makes it. But
man, Lane Hutson looks straight out of Lord of the Rings. Like, he's like a science fiction Habs prospect, man. Like, is he even real? Like, it's unbelievable what he does with the puck. He's all over the place, and the sky is the limit, man. Like, and there's room in the NHL. Everyone's scared because he's got that small size and stuff, but I don't know. I think he's gonna turn some heads. I mean, Quinn Hughes is an inch taller. Look it up. He's an inch taller. So, yeah. I mean, well, what's an inch, Drew? Right? Well, what's an inch? Come on. He's
Yeah.
doing pretty good, man. Like, and I just see him. I see him as an NHL player. I do. I think he's going to do just wicked for the Canadians one day. The potential's there. You know, the ceiling is really high. He's got that offensive flair, and he can just carry the puck. He's wicked. When the puck's on his stick, he's Frodo. He just turns right into him at the snap of a finger. And that's going to scare the shit out of a lot of opposing teams, man. It is. And the fact that he's small, he's always been this small, is good because, you know, he's going to be like, I was saying this in a video yesterday, like, I find like the smaller players, a lot of them, everybody thinks they're going to get crushed, but they don't because they've had to play the same style throughout their entire lives.
Yeah.
Whereas you get a guy like Yuri Slavkovsky, everybody's looking up at him. He's like the Eiffel Tower, and he's coming in there, and it's a bit of a different story, right? Like, he's got to watch.
Yeah.
Completely polar opposite.
For sure. And I think I was overly hyped about Cole Caufield. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's jump into Caufield and Suzuki for 1 second. And I was getting chirped by Dale Weiss, like on our Habs Tonight show. He's like, dude, like it wasn't even just him. It was a lot of people. They were like, you know, it's just saying like, oh man, I love your heart on for Caufield. I'm like, whoa, number one, easy there. Like I keep that part of my life private. But like that came from Dale and the Habs Tonight team. And I was like, look at him now, guys. Look at him now.
Now he's just on a rampage, eh?
Yeah,
Wow.
but I think Lane Hutson's going to be the Cole Caufield of our defense corps.
I do too. And I just find it weird that because he's a Habs prospect and everybody's throwing the height thing out at you right away. He's too small. He's too small. But if this guy was drafted by, I don't know, Seattle Kraken or whatever, some team that only got 4.5 fans, it'd be a completely different ballgame. You wouldn't hear about that. And then one day he's going to be in the NHL and everyone's going to be like, holy shit, look at Lane Hudson for Seattle. But thankfully, the Canadians got this guy. I think that was a smart pick, man. He's setting the bar pretty high for himself. I mean, he's breaking records down there. He's on pace to break records. And it's going to be interesting seeing how he does when he does make the step to the next level.
It is, man. And you know what? Like, I went ahead and actually said, okay, because he's got a high ceiling, which you and I both believe.
Yeah.
And I made the Cale Makar early comparison, and fans were like, whoa, okay, hold on. And then guess what? They asked Lane Hudson the other day. I got a quote right here from Lane. And he said, when asked, what do you think of these comparisons between him and Cale Makar? And quote, Lane Hudson says, I believe I can match Cale Makar's level of play. Time will tell, but I feel like I can deliver the kind of elements he brings.
Isn't that awesome, right? Like, the only way he could have topped that is if he was like, Cale Makar, not ringing a bell, boys. Who the hell is Cale Makar? That's the only way. The only way he could have topped that question.
Yeah, can you imagine? Just pure troll job. This is the next Bobby Orr. I don't know if you guys knew.
Yeah, he's looking good, man. He's looking really good, and he's the explosiveness. Oh my God, the way he carries the puck is when he gets the puck in the ozone, man, it's lights out. I've been seeing lots of clips of him online, even, you know, plays that he don't score or don't end up in the back of the net. But the guy is he's far when he gets the puck.
Yep. No, it's. I really hope that he lives up to it because it really looks like it, and I really hope he makes the World Juniors so we can get a real taste. And now, when he's on the World Junior stage, I mean, still playing against not quite men yet. Some of them might be considered men in terms of their size and stature, but I can't wait for him to potentially make that team. And I've already been calling him the ankle breaker. It's like a wrestling finishing move, man. I think his finishing move is the ankle breaker or something, because like the way he is able to deke around guys, I don't know, man. That's the first thing I thought of is this kid's going to break some ankles when he gets to the show. He
is for sure. And it's kind of nuts, you know, when you look at it, because tell me when was the last time you seen something like this? So the Habs take Yuri Slavkovsky first overall. Then they take dude, where's Mijer? Then they take Owen Beck and Lane Hudson in the second round. Now, Mijer, like, really, all the hype so far has been centralized around Slavkovsky, Hudson, and Beck. Like, there hasn't been a whole lot of talk about Mijer. Now, he's been doing pretty good. He's playing for a bit of a shittier team right now. You know, they're not exactly lighting it up as a team or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I just find it neat that the Canadians did such a good job in the first 2 rounds, where there's a first round pick that's barely being talked about yet.
Yeah, that's maybe a good thing, and it's also cool that he's able to get all the ice time he's getting right now too. Right, that's a good sign as well.
For sure, yeah.
So, well, with that, my friend, we kind of talked about Caufield a little bit. We didn't really get a chance to talk about our goaltending, but we can talk on that for a minute. So, what do you think the future of the goaltending situation looks like in Montreal? Because I don't know the answer to that. I think we might try to draft, but there's also some prospects that I don't really know enough about coming up through the pipeline, maybe that have a shot. But what are your impressions of the future in net for the Canadians?
There is some prospects coming up. There's been a lot of talk about Ditchow, is that his name? Or one of them anyway.
I'm
There's a
asking for
couple
your.
there's a couple of big goaltenders coming up, man. But now, you know the way it is with goaltending. Some of them make it, some of them fake it. They don't always do it. Look at your Zach Fucale, and there's been a bunch. Michael McNiven, and the Habs fans are always saying, "Oh, this is going to be the guy. This is going to be the guy." Caden Primo down there, you know, he was going to be the guy. And every time he's come up so far, he's looked a bit, I don't know, he's looked like a dementia patient sometimes. But overall, though, not too bad, right? He hasn't been doing too bad in Laval. For the sake of Jake Allen and Samuel Montembeault, has looked pretty good so far this season, and he's been a pleasant surprise overall since picking him up. I mean, this guy was picked up by the Canadians, and so far he's asserted himself hard in Caden Primo and hard in McNiven, and that's why McNiven's gone now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been so frustrating for those guys just watching them get claimed and come in and actually, you know, do well enough to stay and earn a position. And now with Carey Price MIA, well, he's looking like he's going to be the answer short term. I don't know about long term. Jake Allen's going to be here for a while. I think we're going to see this tandem for another couple of years yet. I don't know why, but and hopefully by then maybe they'll draft another goalie and maybe they'll get some good stiff competition within the organization to see who comes up next.
I think it's a possibility, but these guys have, like you said, they could stick around for a little bit longer, right? Just we don't know what we have in Caden Primo fully yet.
No, we don't know. You know, and goaltenders are weird. Some of them don't really come on and start their careers until late. I mean, look at Dubnyk, for example. Remember Dubnyk was getting tossed around like a can of sardines at work there for a bit, and then all of a sudden he started playing good for a couple of years, and that's the way it is with goaltenders.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, Carey Price comes in at 20, but that's when hockey was still in a different era. I feel like he was kind of coming in between the two eras of, you know, just after that post lockout or the 2004-5 lockout, and he was able to start on time, but he came off of a Calder Cup with the Hamilton Bulldogs, and you know, came off of a winning pedigree, right? So that's different. Like everyone's built different, and for goalies, it just seems to take longer.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, one of these guys in the system do turn some heads and become a pleasant surprise.
Hopefully. I think I want to end finally. It's hard to stop talking with you because it's just so much fun, you know, because we're having so much fun together, my friend. Our first time doing a show together. But I want to talk about, I mentioned Caufield already, but Caufield and Suzuki, and just I think these guys should both be going to the All-Star game. That's my first impression on this season. Like, come on, they're just on fire.
I would too. They both of these guys deserve it, man. Suzuki's been on a complete rampage himself. Like, who had Suzuki penciled in to have, what is it, 14 goals now? Like, isn't that something?
Like,
both
of them.
He's been going on, and that shooting percentage, like, everybody's saying, oh, he's not going to sustain it. But guess what? So far, he's looking pretty good. He's been keeping it up, and it's been going on now for a while. There's just no end in sight for him. Like, and it's nice to have that top line, eh? Like, they're making a good tandem. Like, you think of Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Sorry to make you throw up in your mouth a little bit. I know I just did, but and every team's got them though. Every team's got these guys, or they try and get these guys. And the Canadians didn't really have that to this extent, but Suzuki and Caufield have come in, man, and they're electric right now. They got good chemistry. Both of them got a good shot. Both of them can be on the power play on opposite ends of the ice, and I don't know. The future's looking good with these guys. Look at the points they're putting up, and they're only kids.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they're not even in their prime yet. Not even close. Well, they're close-ish, I guess. But man, they are fun to watch. And I don't know that everybody expected it, but playing under the right coach, right? Do you think how much of a difference do you think that's making?
Well, it's got to be making some. I mean, at first I was skeptical. I was like, maybe he just broke out of a slump. Maybe two of them just broke out of a slump. But I mean, especially Caufield, like to a less extent Suzuki, but Caufield, man, last season, my God, it wasn't looking good. Like I was, it was looking a bit terrifying there for a bit, especially when he got sit down. I was thinking, man, his confidence right now is just in the shitter. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
But since Marty St. Louis came along, I don't know if he's the whole story or if there's more behind the scenes or what, but I mean, it's hard to deny, man. The amount of goals that he scored since St. Louis became coach is just in pure insanity.
Yeah, I think he's got 42 and 103 games or 102 games, something like that. But he's like a lot of the guys I mentioned, they're playing free and not with systems and that whole thing that Marty's been introducing the concepts, right? But I love it, man. I just think that he is a modern day coach, and certainly these guys are benefiting from it, and hopefully some higher draft picks. I think we gotta, and I'm with you. We kind of talked about this in the beginning of the show. We have to go after we have to do our best to try to get a top 10 pick at least, because the scouts are reporting that 11 of 12 of the top 12 or top 15 picks, I think it is 11 or 12 of them are centermen or forwards, and we have to try to hit, right? We got to try to hit on one of these.
Absolutely. And if they get another first round pick, then that just makes their chances a little bit juicier. I don't know. I got a really good feeling about it. Really good feeling.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Well, I think it sounds like you might need to be, tending to your sheep back there.
Kids are on rampages, man. Both of them got the cold, and they've been home and they're sick, and it's bonkers. It is completely bonkers.
Well, they need dad right now, so they need Big Daddy Junkie now. I don't know. I just tried to come up with a name there, but dude, this was such a pleasure. This was a blast for me, and I hope our viewers really enjoyed. And would love to do this again, my friend.
Anytime, buddy. Anytime you want. Thanks for having me on. You're awesome. Thanks a million.
And the feeling's mutual, buddy, for sure. We are we could be the next Batman and Robin. Look out, Mashar and Slavkovsky. I don't know. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Matt, aka Hockey Junkie, and Drew Deeks signing off. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we'll see you. Actually, you know what, Matt? Can I let you close off this episode with your shtick, or not shtick, but your thing? Do you know what I mean?
Okay, guys, and that does it for this episode of Drew Deeks. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. If you didn't, well, I hope your next colonoscopy just goes horribly wrong. Horribly wrong.
And we'll see you next time.
There you go.
Thanks for watching, everybody.